No sitting president has ever done this. Never, never, never. No Republican president has done this. No Democratic president. We have racists, and they've existed. They've tried to get elected president. He's the first one that has. And the way he pits people against one another is all designed to divide the country, divide people, not put them together.
If Haiti, I've got all the thing to say, if Haiti just quietly sunk into the Caribbean or rose up 300 feet, it wouldn't matter a whole lot.
We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Wealthy kids, black kids, Asian kids. No, I really mean it, but think how we think about it.
Lobbyists aren't bad people. Special interest groups are not bad people. But guess what? They're corrosive. People who accept the money from them aren't bad people, but it's human nature. You go out, Lynn, and bundle $250,000 for me, all legal, and then you call me after I'm elected and say, Joe, I'd like to come and talk to you about something. You didn't buy me, but it's human nature. You helped me. I'm going to say, sure, Lynn, come on in.
Now is the time to heed the timeless advice from Teddy Roosevelt. Speak softly and carry a big stick. End of quote. I promise you, the president has a big stick. I promise you. This election year, the choice is clear. One man stands ready to deliver change we desperately need. A man I'm proud to call my friend. A man who will be the next president of the United States, Barack America.
Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he ran a bunch of bad boys. And I did, and back in those days, you sure how things had changed. One of the things you had to use, if you used pomade in your hair, you had to wear a baby cap. And he cut off a 6-foot length of chain. He folded up, he said, you walk out with that chain. And you walk to the car and say, you may cut me, man, but I'm gonna wrap this chain around your head. So I walked out with the chain. And I walked up to my car. And those days, used to remember the straight race. You'd bang them on the curb, get them rusty, put them in a rain barrel, get them rusty. And to get hot, I got hairy legs that turn, blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
The fact is that what happens now is that we, in fact, have to fundamentally change the culture of how women are treated. No man has a right to raise a hand to a woman in anger other than in self-defense, and that's rarely ever occurs. And so we have to just change the culture, period, and keep punching at it and punching at it and punching at it. That saved billions of gallons of gasoline. I mean, billions of $2.3 billion worth of, $500 billion in savings and 2-point-something billion metric tons of CO2 going in the air.
Does nothing to tackle the number one job facing the middle class, and it happens to be, as Barack says, a three-letter word: jobs. J-O-B-S.
The younger generation now tells me how tough things are. Give me a break. We can speak out and be more straightforward. I'm not going to be a mule. I got something to do. I got to go do boom, boom, boom.
Hillary Clinton is as qualified or more qualified than I am to be Vice President of the United States of America. Let's get that straight. And quite frankly, it might have been a better pick than me.
I went to the big guys for the money. I was ready to prostitute myself in the manner in which I talked about it. But what happened was they said, come back when you're 40, son.
Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night.
Well, folks, eliminate one tax loophole out of $1.6 trillion worth, $1.4 trillion. Out of $1.4 billion, $1.4 billion. It's hard to even say it so much.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent.
I want to be clear. I'm not going nuts.
Let him go. Let him go. Look, the reason I'm running is because I've been around a long time and I know more than most people know. And I can get things done. That's why I'm running. And you want to check my shape on, let's do push-ups together, man. Let's run. Let's do whatever you want to do. Damn liar, man. That's not true.
I think I probably have a much higher IQ than you do, I suspect, and I'd be delighted to sit down and compare my IQ to yours if you'd like, Frank.
And by the way, it's cost a lot of money. It cost about $740 billion over 10 years.
Will you ever run for political office again?
No. I know I'm called middle class Joe. It's not meant as a compliment. Means I'm not sophisticated. We choose unity over division. We choose science over fiction. We choose truth over fact.
Senator Biden, words have in the past gotten you in trouble. Words that were borrowed and words that some found hateful. An editorial in the Los Angeles Times said, in addition to his uncontrolled verbosity, Biden is a gaffe machine. Can you reassure your voters in this country that you would have the discipline you would need on the world stage, Senator?
Yes. My name is Joe Biden, and I love ice cream. What President Trump has done in going his spreading of racism, the way he deals with color of their skin, their national origin, where they're from, is absolutely sickening. No sitting president has ever done this. Never, never, never. No Republican president has done this. No Democratic president. We've had racists, and they've existed, they've tried to get elected president. He's the first one that has. And the way he pits people against one another is all designed to divide the country, divide people, not put them together.
If Haiti, a god-awful thing to say, if Haiti just quietly sunk into the Caribbean or rose up 300 feet, it wouldn't matter a whole lot.
We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Wealthy kids, black kids, Asian kids. No, I really mean it, but think how we think about it.
Lobbyists aren't bad people. Special interest groups are not bad people. But guess what? They're corrosive. People who accept the money from them aren't bad people. But it's human nature. You go out, Lynn, and bundle $250,000 for me, all legal, and then you call me after I'm elected and say, Joe, I'd like to come and talk to you about something. You didn't buy me, but it's human nature. You helped me. I'm going to say, sure, Lynn, come on in.
Now is the time to heed the timeless advice from Teddy Roosevelt. Speak softly and carry a big stick. End of quote. I promise you, the president has a big stick. I promise you.
Hello. We're back. How are you all doing? Oop. Oh, once again we are back. Did I miss anything while I was gone? Electric Baguette, thank you. There's other people who subscribed. Larby, thank you. Spacetime Wonder. Kimmeries as well. Thank you.
Is that a brown bear?
Not going great. No, I don't think so. I don't think things are going good. Reaper, thank you.
Is that a brown bear?
Oh man, oh brother. I feel like I haven't looked at the internet discourse about the ice killing all that much. But I've seen enough. Do you know what I mean? Like, you look at it for like 20 minutes and it's like, okay. I think I pretty much just know the things that everyone is saying, the things that everyone is doing. I feel like I've said this many times. KJ, thank you for the 16 months. I've said this many times. I've said it a long time ago. I've said it recently. It continues to be true, which is that like 30% of any given country, but in this case, the United Snakes of America, are fascist. Approximately 30% of a given country are fascist and are perfectly fine with fascism happening. And in fact, they love it. They think it's awesome and they would prefer it to happen. And it seems like, given the impression of this, that like, man, there are a lot of people whose reaction to this seems to just be like, is Canada's 30% just Alberta? No, but there's a lot of Hitler particles in Alberta, though.
It's okay. I'm
50 Trap Lord, thank you.
I had no
thank you for the 10 gift subs.
Do whatever you want all the time.
We love to see it. Shout out, thank you. Let's Let's start with the little guy. I'll maybe make it a little quiet so I can talk. Maybe we'll do the other one. This feels like better background music. Save us, Dancing Lizard. Yes, I don't know if the Dancing Lizard... I don't know if he's got it in him. Oh yeah, 30% of any given country is fascist and is happy with fascism. And you've seen that based on the discourse. I honestly, like, maybe this is because my TikTok algorithm has, like, Fuentes on it too, so it probably thinks I'm, like, Chud-coded. Although it sends me, like, all the politics stuff I generally see are very left-wing. Yeah, most of the politics stuff I see on my TikTok is very left-wing, but hold on. But I got a TikTok recently about how, like, oh, I bet the lady who got killed was on SSRIs and something else, you know, like had pronouns and blue hair, like, and it was like sincere. And like all of the comments they were posting, like, Wojaks of her getting shot in the neck. Which, like, Loomer said like she deserved to die because she's a communist, right? Which he was like, some people are just not valuable, which it's like, that's good for you to say, fucking Laura Loomer. I think a lot of that is like, you don't appreciate how many people were probably very offended by all the Charlie Kirk memes. Like, they had to have gone somewhere, right? They had like an entire month where if you said like, I don't care about this guy dying because such and such, because he said this, like, they would drone strike your house. You know what I mean? Justice, thank you. So those people must have gone somewhere. And it seems like their general response to this is, like, to make memes about this lady dying. And there's, like, quite a bit of them. My favorite, like, I mean, a part of this is, like people love, like, rating poll who are, like, not right-wing. It's kind of a shell of its former self. But, like, all of the poll takes, it was a combination of making fun of her dying, and then it was people whose position, like, was that it's fucked up people are making fun of this because you're celebrating a white woman getting killed. Like, you're celebrating a white person dying. Which I can't imagine that most of those aren't, like, it has to be the case that most of those people are just, like, leftists pretending to be on the right. But I can't, could you imagine, like, getting right-wing enough? That's the diversity of thought on the right. Yeah, getting right-wing enough that you're like, this, like, ICE is assassinating members of the Volk. I don't think that, for the most part, I think that it's, there's a line, because, like, isn't, like, Asmund Grossdeutsch, his thing was, like, you know, fuck around and find out, or whatever. He's been using, like, the poll talking point about, like, white women kind of deserving suffering because they vote for liberal politicians, and then liberal politicians allow for immigration, which is, like, not actually why immigration happens. That's not how politics works. Like, if you think that immigration happens because, like, woke people feel bad, it's just not really how politics has happened historically. But, you know, even barring that, but it's that sort of image of liberal white women who oppose ICE. Oh, yeah, I would genuinely wonder, because there's a certain respect to which, like, well, every online, like, especially because of the cultural moment and just in general, like, every online space, a lot of online spaces have this infestation of right-wing people who are especially emboldened now. And then if the metric is like Twitter, for instance, it's like absurdly bad. So it's like not quite indicative of the general population's response to this. Because, like, I don't know, like, in Minneapolis 5 years ago, they burned down a fucking, thank you for the hype train, everyone. They burned down a fucking police precinct, and a majority of Americans were like, yeah, I mean, that's what happens. I can't imagine, like, I mean, this is, yeah, I mean, of course, like, on a white lesbian George Floyd, same city too, almost, I mean, yeah, the movie makes you think it's the same city. Is the implication here that, like, they also planned, no, the implication is that they're, like, the Democrats are, like, who, by the way, are, like, completely feckless fucking response, are like, we need to copy it. We need to copy exactly what happened with George Floyd. Like the city is important too. If we don't get the city correctly, then people won't be sympathetic. You would say, like, I mean, that's a stupid conspiracy because it assumes that the Democrats are, like, planning things in a stupid way. But it's like, well, she's a stupid person, so that's how if she would do it, she would be like, oh, well, we have to do our false flag in the exact same location. But yeah, I mean, it's a classic. It's the classic, right? It didn't happen, but if it did, she deserved it. Many such cases of that. You just got to cover all your bases. Oh. Yeah, is there any indication of, like, what the average person's response to this has been? Because I did see some like Minnesotan right-wing people's reaction where they're like, I'm right-wing, certainly, but, like, this is kind of fucked up. Not that we should care that much, I guess, about it's less about, like, what the general population thinks and more about, like, how is the general population's reaction to this, which is, like, more analogous to that moment in the spring of 2020 when they burned down a police precinct and everyone was like, that's pretty cool. It's gonna normal folks on Facebook, because I would have to imagine that the general reaction to this is being upset. And people are pointing this out, that, like, this form of violence has existed for non-white people forever, for all of America, and that the idea that a white person is specifically killed without any, just immediately villainized by the administration, like, specifically white person is maybe new, although, I mean, honest, maybe, I guess so, yeah. And of course, like, the way that American society and white supremacy is structured, like, the way the influence of white supremacy in American society means that that'll make this event something that's more important than it would be if it wasn't person of color. Yes, white person, as everyone online is putting it, a U.S. citizen. I mean, you see that rhetoric. It's even, like, watching The Daily Show, like, a year ago, where they were talking about deportations, and one of the rhetorical moves was like, this could also be bad for people who do have documents. Isn't that crazy? Like, that's the way that they were justifying, because it couldn't be justified like, oh, this is terrible for people who are undocumented, like, on its own terms. That isn't, like, a sufficient justification. Oh, yeah. It's very grim, but everything about this is grim. Although I think I don't, like, one of the more depressing components of the current context is that everyone is so tired. Like, there feels like in American society, like, it was like, oh, there was an attempt to oppose Trump in the first administration, and, like, it didn't work. So, like, what's the point? Like, this, I have better shit to do right now. Yeah, damn, what a year. It's been 8 days. Because if shit like this was happening in 2017, I can't imagine the response. Everything is just so muted. Like a significant portion of the American society just thinks, like, well, Trump isn't a fascist because, like, he was the president for 4 years, and when he was the president, he didn't do anything bad. So, like, well, he didn't do anything bad. He didn't do fascism. So, like, Well, he's not going to do fascism this time. I wonder if, like, I don't know, man. Yeah, and then, like, the Venezuela shit is still ongoing. The left-wing leadership, I mean, the Tim Walz response has been so fucking pathetic. He was saying, like, you know, don't react to this. That's what they want. I don't think that that's what they... I mean, yeah, I don't think that's what they want. I don't think that their response to this is like, well, it'd be good if everyone just pretended this didn't happen. That would be awesome for ICE. That would really prevent them from being able to do the shit that they want to do, is if everyone stayed home. And then it seems like the mayor of Minneapolis, again, is doing, like, symbolic shit. He was like, get the fuck out of our city. What is, like, Tim Walz talked about that he's going to mobilize the Minnesota National Guard. And for a second I was like, oh, like, to fight ICE? But, like, no, right? Greg, they're allowed to, like... It's not that they're allowed to break the rules. It's that they have the administrative capacity to do so. Yeah, for the protesters. I mean... I think this is something that Spencer was saying on Blue Sky. Was that, like, Tim Walz is someone who is so addicted to not rising to the moment. He can't help but, like, you know, there's a moment that it's important for him to react to, and he just completely fails to rise to it properly. What is the Mamdani response? I don't even know. I mean, I guess he's not in Minneapolis. It doesn't matter. Walz is addicted to not meeting the moment. I mean, the Democratic leadership in general is just... They're cowards and they don't care. He's pretty much the best national dem politically. Yeah, I mean it. It's really pathetic. I mean, to a certain respect, it's horrifying that, like, all you have is each other. These institutions are not going to help. I did see that, wasn't there was some vigil that had like 10,000 people in Minneapolis. You hope that that is the start of something or facilitate something, but I don't. Let's see.
This case.
This is one part of what has been a year full of cruelty. And we know that when ICE agents attack immigrants, they attack every single one of us across this country. And this is a city and will always be a city that stands up for immigrants across the 5 boroughs.
Yeah, I mean, you could at least argue with like Walz or the mayor of Minneapolis. Like, there's something institutionally they can do. Obviously, they're doing fucking nothing. Flag burning was an op? Was there flag burning? I feel like the answer instinctually is probably no. Lots of strong words. No one in the US seems to be willing to put themselves on the line. I think people are willing to. Probably not enough people, at least at the moment. Like, that is really the question, is like, how much does this rise?
Why would you run off? Why would you run off? That's weird, to burn a flag and run off. That doesn't make sense. That's not a protest.
No, I don't know.
Why are you not back there at the protest where you got everybody riled up? You came here to do what? You a boogaloo boy? An accelerationist? What are you doing here?
I think he's probably just some guy. I mean, maybe.
Where's your car? Where you from? Why are you here?
I feel like everyone is just addicted to doing conspiracy theories, even when it's like completely inconsequential. I was wondering what the left's conspiracy on this was going to be, and I guess that's it. I don't know. That just seems like. Where's your grandma stay? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe. I also think it's good to burn American flags, I guess. You know, it doesn't. What the fuck happened to Black Bloc? I mean, you saw there was a schism there during like 2020, which was like this idea that like, well, the white people were coming from out of town to like make the protests more violent. Because if you get enough of American society in a protest, like a lot of them are going to be liberals who obviously, especially don't want to participate within violence against the carceral state, and are not signing up for doing that when they get out, when they go on the street. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just outside agitator discourse. I mean, maybe. I guess it's not impossible.
See this fucking shit. Dude. Where's that fucking tattoo? Let me see this fucking shit. Yeah, get the fuck in your truck and get the fuck out of this city, dog. Dude. I mean it, bro. Don't make me fucking get on the phone.
He's such a... It is funny, like, you think of ICE people, you know, it's the terrifying fascist mob. But a lot of it, like, I think particularly, even more so than, like, the example of, like, the brown shirts, are just, like,
I'm gonna
losers.
start calling people, because I'll have half this fucking city come down here and take you the fuck.
Because it's like you're signing up for a government institution.
Dude, we're not...
too.
I'm not even from nowhere around. We just come
Fuck
through.
off, Nazi. Get in your truck and leave. Your whole fucking crew, Nazis?
No, man, we're not even from here.
Where the rest of them at?
Texas.
Yeah?
No, they're not.
Go back to fucking Texas.
Dude, I had this done years ago.
I know, and it's still on your fucking face,
Because
bro.
I ain't had no
I
time
seen
to
that
change
before. I seen your fucking eyes, dog. Get the fuck out of my city, or
His response, it's a fascinating response from someone who, like, wants to do fascism.
I will fucking end you. Look at this fucking Nazi piece
It's fascinating too. Maybe he was in Croatia. That's hard to
of
say.
fucking shit walking down fucking Lindale, bro. Yeah, get the fuck on. I see you.
That is like the real difference between when they're just in plain clothes on duty and when they're not.
You doggy.
He's like, I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry, brother. I just got it a while ago. I'm not even from around here. Which I don't understand how that relates to the thing the guy's saying. I didn't mean it. Where'd the Proud Boys go? I mean, I don't know. That's a good question. What are the odds that a lot of those groups are? I mean, they're probably just in ICE, yeah. They got hired by ICE. I think that sort of guy does probably just want to join ICE. Yeah, I mean, I remember those sort of, a lot of those institutions got a lot smaller after January 6th. There was like a keeping your head down. But now, especially that Trump is in charge, like, you're going to have less of those groups that are like organizing against the state, right? Maybe that's not true. It seems like the paramilitary groups that would be getting bigger are like the real far right groups, you know, like the much more far right, the furthest right that you can go, who think that Trump is like Jewish. Yeah, maybe the Atomwaffen. All of those fascist societies, like basically societies that are springing up in like flyover states. that like, you know, they have all of the like tactical milsim gear, and they have like a compound in the middle of nowhere. Like those guys are probably getting bigger. I don't know if the Proud Boys would be. What are Dems gonna do post-Trump with ICE? I mean, fucking... probably not much. That's yeah, fund them. There's like a Blue Sky post by some like liberal journalist who is like, how are we actually going to abolish ICE? We have 20,000 of these insane fascists running around. You think like if you fire them, that's not going to be a problem? Like the implication is like, well, they should stay. Yeah, you give them sensitivity training, I guess. That is the fascinating thing. Like, it's such a good example of like institutional liberal imagination that it's like ICE has existed for what, like 2 decades, 2.5 decades maybe. It's pretty new, and they're 24 years. It's like they're like, it's impossible to imagine a world without ICE, and it's like every other liberal democracy.
A brown bear?
Splinker Bell, thank you. Every other liberal democracy does not have an institution that is at least at least that brutal. And this country, United States of America, did not have it for most of its existence. Yeah, I think most of you guys are older than ICE. When was the DHS? That one feels like it's longer. This presidency taking some more extreme right makes sense to the government to make it more likely the Democratic leadership will be further left. I mean, it's hard to I think it's hard to say what the 2028 Democrats are going to look like. It does seem like a really good time for there to be like a Bernie. Well, that's the thing, actually. The problem with the Bernie stuff is like Bernie's movement really does feel like it's a pre-Black Lives Matter thing. That like Bernie has always been very like skeptical and resistant to embracing any sort of on the ground action. You can see this with his relationship with which city was he the mayor of? Biden moment. Burlington. You could see this with like Vermont anarchists. That he didn't like them historically. He viewed them as a liability. He's the mayor of the coat factory, yeah. So there's a certain sense in which that might make it actually harder to have like the Bernie style Democrat, because you can see like with Mamdani, has to toe a line trying to become like a Demsoc reformer wing of the Democratic Party. That is, the line he's towing is much more difficult because the pressure on the left is on the left kind of flank is much more overtly anti-institution than like anything that was in 2016. And even Mamdani feels like a specific example that isn't going to be replicated. The party won't tolerate federal Mamdani. I mean, it also like depends on like, well, it's not up to the party. At a certain level, it's not up to the party. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's hard to say at this point. I can't imagine that anyone is going to be fine with the Democratic response to this, though. I wouldn't hold my breath. I mean, I don't even know, like, what is politics going to look like in fucking 2 years, 2.5 years in American society. I'm not optimistic. I think it's gonna be a lot messier. Yeah. The thing about like the accelerationist position is that like, well, people have to be like capable of organizing, like intellectually speaking, capable of organizing for like more chaos to be valuable. You have like an institution, you've an organization that is able to take advantage of a power vacuum, and like that doesn't exist, and things getting worse doesn't make that exist. That's not really how that works. Like if they don't have if the society doesn't have the brain power to make one in the first place, then things getting more chaotic doesn't especially give them that. So I struggle to see how things getting, how the contradictions heightening, you know, is gonna be an inherently necessarily good thing for politics. Whether that brings back mass politics or something, I don't think so. What does the NATO EU do if the US takes Greenland? Probably nothing, honestly. I think they do nothing. I think the answer is, I think that the EU continues to sit in their cuck chair. Similarly, when I finally get American citizenship, no, they're not going to give us citizenship. They're not going to give us citizenship. Canada is like number 7th on the chopping board. I said this before, that it's like to the Doug Ford Antifa. Yeah, I will be joining the Doug Ford Antifa. Yeah, it's like Mexico, Cuba, Greenland, Venezuela, the Doug Ford Viet Cong. What other countries before us and then us? It's like all the non-white people first, and then it's like, well, there's this group in the north, maybe Panama, yeah. Probably a couple more. They'll find more. And then it's Canada, and I'm not actually sure again concretely what they want. It's kind of unclear for a lot of this concretely what they want. Venezuela, Trump has made it clear that he wants oil, which is all like, sure, fuck it. It is just like it's not even the fucking Dave Chappelle sketch, you know, where he's like Black George Bush, and he's like, I want that oil, oh, and then he like pushes over like he's just saying it. He's not even ashamed of saying it. Egypt for the Suez. I mean, they already have Egypt. Egypt's already a client state. It's unclear what I mean, it was fascinating to me, the Alberta Premier, Danielle Smith, who is like one of the least politically like adept individuals in like Canadian politics. She went to Mar-a-Lago to like be nice to Trump, and when she came back, I was watching this interview she had with some online podcast where she's like, you know, I was like trying to do negotiations, and it really just seems like the thing that Trump wants is for Canada to be a part of America. Like, it's not a long con. It's not like, ooh, we'll get better trade. No, he's just like, this country should be in our country. Like, that's his sincere belief on the subject. And yeah, I mean, a given 30% of American society is just like, that's awesome. That's cool. It's funny. He is Matt Painter spirit. Everyone does. They all do have Hoi 4 brain, and I not necessarily the product of Hearts of Iron 4 itself. Although, like, we get a Biden count for me forgetting what Burlington, Vermont was. in the older ones, it's not necessarily a product of the game itself. Although I think younger American conservatives, it genuinely probably is Hearts of Iron 4. I think that article that everyone was mad about, that Attingementum made, is probably generally true. I think 30% of the country thinks it's awesome. I guess that's the question of everyone else. It's what are the independents? Why am I glowing? It's hard to say. I have a new setup. I'm taking progesterone again. Which has been honestly really good for my sleep. That is one thing I do like about a smartwatch, is I can track my sleep. Although apparently that's kind of fake. Like there was one of my friends was mentioning there's this like study with smartwatch sleep tracking that like you basically just say your sleep is as good as what the app says it is. Like it's a placebo. It doesn't give me anxiety. It feels like it helps. I woke up today and I was like, that was a great sleep. But then I checked and it was like 8.5 hours. I was like, I fucking knew it. I knew it. Anyway, yeah, it's real. Like, I think that a lot of people are realizing there was this article that was quoting like Danish politicians about Trump like earlier last year. I can't remember, like I'll poorly paraphrase. Like they were saying something like, we didn't think that he would actually want to do it. And I think that is like a perfect explanation, a perfect summary of Trump 2 foreign policy. Is like, we didn't actually think that he was going to do that. Like we thought he was joking. Also, yeah, how the fuck does it tell your REM, how much REM sleep you get? I guess it's just your heart rate. I don't know how accurate that is. Like, yeah, no one... It's time for the Kirkulator. That's been a I think I've been repeating in my mind recently. It's time for the Kirkulator. It's time for the Kirkulator. Time for the Kirkulator. Low Kirkenually. I mean, again, that is really why, like, there has been a really clear, a very strong response by the American right to, like, meme the death of this lady. And I don't want to be, like, overly optimistic, because I love doing that sometimes. Oh. Something crashed here. Can you hear me? Oh. Sorry. I don't know why that happened. Can you not hear me still? Oh no. Can you hear me? We're back. I don't know why that happened. What was I just saying? I can't remember. I'm gonna turn down my... It's very hot in my room. I don't appreciate how north Vancouver is, because it gets, like, dark really fucking early. Like, genuinely, it gets dark at, like 4 p.m. It's brutal. It's very... but it's not that cold, so it's fine. Oh, yeah, the right... low-key Kirk genuinely entered my flow state low-key genuinely niche and reached low Kirkentological low state. That is just German. Yeah, absolutely. they seem to have genuinely, like, the right-wing response to this is quite aggressive about, like, memeing her death. And they'll do the same meme where it's like she's getting shot in the neck. It makes it very clear that it's like oh, you know, it's like what you guys did with fucking Charlie Kirk, which I think, like, beyond anything else, misunderstands why people did the Charlie Kirk memes. Like, the extent of those Charlie Kirk memes, like, would have been much less significant if it wasn't a thing of, like, teacher gets fired for literally pointing out some of the things that Charlie Kirk believed after he was killed. Like, you did that, and so this is the cultural reaction. I think if anything, they jumped the gun on it. Like, they should have at least waited like a month to do that. And also just like the reason why that worked was because people were like, well, he does suck. This one, I don't think that, like, anyone who isn't so absurdly negatively polarized that, like, convincing them doesn't mean anything. Like, you don't need to convince them. Like, anyone who isn't that, I don't think that these memes are going to work on them. I think people are going to find these sort of memes in very poor taste. Have the memes of the wrong lady? Oh, are some of those photos, because some of the photos of her look very different than the other ones. Did they just, like, misidentify her? Yeah, and this is not a public figure. This is just some lady. And I mean, yeah, if you watch the video, it's really clear that she's not about to run the ICE officer over. The first photo. I don't have the chronological order because I'm not online enough anymore. But I'm assuming it's one of the ones they're still posting, which is like, it's a different girl who also won a prize for the same poetry contest. Must be so mentally healthy. Yeah, exactly. Oh, and then Loomer posted her. Loomer is a real, like, I would say modern day Rasputin, but, like, she doesn't have that sort of sauce at all. You would think that, like, the American modern Rasputin would be, like, kooky in the way that Rasputin was. Like, everything is washed, but at the very least, American society still has that. You know what I mean? The idea that fucking Loomer is a Trump 2 character at all is, like, really so absurd. I mean, like, surely this doesn't work. I don't... I guess American society is... You can see the video, like, it's clear that she's leaving. Because is the point, like, the Asmongold point now is literally like, well, she didn't follow the orders that the ICE agent was saying, and so it's actually like, what do you expect? Of course you're gonna get shot. Which I guess those sort of people revere authority to the extent that they do just believe that any ICE agent should be like judge, jury, and executioner, and that there should be no accountability. That it should like it's so fucking insane. It's so fucking insane that, like, in the same sentence they'll be like, this isn't actually a secret police, but also, like, you're not allowed to dox her. Dox the ICE agents. Like, that's actually, like, their identity, that's like doxing. Even the fact that they're using the term doxing is like, everyone is so fucking online. Like, this isn't like the StarCraft 2 opponent you just played and you suspect is cheating. Like, this is this is a member of the police. This is an American agency. Like, you should be able to know people's identities. Like, the administration is using the term fucking doxing. That is a secret police. That's what that word means. It means they're secret. There are police. It's the thing of like, no, it's not a secret police. It's a police institution that is secret. Where their identities are a secret. You're not allowed to speculate. And no one is scraping an IP address from a Skype account. Yeah, America, it's not good. I do think, like, it is unfortunate that, like, people, one of the most significant components of this is that it is just it was a white person that was killed. As someone in the chat said, like, white person, or as people were saying, American citizen. Although there is another component to this where the status of citizenship also confers an important relation here, which is like tangentially related to race. I'm sure there are scholars that have a much more interesting explanation for that dynamic. Because dehumanization of undocumented people has gotten like really horrific in the past couple years. She's a perfect fix. I mean, I saw like one of the institutions I'm using that word so much today that one of the places I browse to see what's going on with the right is like Poll, politically incorrect, the 4chan board, and they seem to have like tried to dig up some dirt on this lady, where it's like looking at her Facebook comments or something about like, oh, did you hear that the woman actually threw out a drawing of her 4-year-old child after taking a photo of it? And it's like, sure, yeah, this is the one that's gonna work. That's the one that I think is definitely gonna work. I know they're calling her a lesbian. I don't know if that's true or not. Was that one real? I don't. The Kiwi farmification of the right. Yeah, it is. Everything is just Kiwi farms now. Yeah, that's the real take inspiration. Yeah, she has an ex-husband and she has a wife. Had a wife. She's dead. Is the wife the woman? I know that there was someone who was like trying to get medical attention to her. She's bleeding out in the car, and the ICE people are like, "We have our own medical. Like, you have to stop. You can't do that." I mean, the video is just horrific. I can't imagine anyone who watches those videos and isn't just like a Nazi fascist whose response isn't like, "Well, this probably shouldn't have happened, and there should be some sort of institutional accountability for doing this." Yeah, I like. Don't they have a identity? I'm worried about. Wouldn't that be such a funny reason to get banned from Twitch? Because I'm sure they're doing that on fucking Twitter. Star Tribune reported on it. Jonathan Ross. You can't search his name on Blue Sky. Well, there you go. That is yeah. Blue Sky sucks so much. It's crazy. It's actually crazy how much Blue Sky sucks. No, okay, it's on The Guardian, sure. Oh man. Yeah, no, it's on the Guardian, so I assume. Chatters are getting banned statewide for saying she deserves it, but Aspen is saying it every minute in his live stream. Is he saying, like, his position is, like, you should listen to ICE agents whenever they tell you anything, and if you don't, then you deserve to be shot because of it? I mean, I don't know, but Asmongold literally said that Palestinians deserve to be genocided. And, like, he hardly walked it back, so I just don't think that anyone thinks anyone who blocks traffic would be yeah, I mean, it was one of those. Yeah. He's one of those people. He cleaned his room and then he got better, but just kidding. Yeah, I mean, I feel like lib streamers, how obsessed they have generally been with Hassan Piker. He really gives the game away. What's going on in terms of, like, what drama means, like what their motivation for it is, that they aren't, like, 100 times more obsessed with Asmongold, who, like, I guess presumably probably bots his stream, so it's maybe less of a metric, but, like, has more viewers generally than Hassan. And it's because, like, well, drama shit is for views, and the thing that's, like, popular right now is to hate on Hassan. We have an extremely right-wing culture, and you have a guy who's, like, very anti-Zionist. I think the Israel issue is one of the more important ones. That's why the shot collar should happen. Every once in a while, it does feel like I'm, like, taking crazy pills when you see how people refer to Asmongold. And the fact that he got, like, a month. Didn't he get, like, no, he got, like, a 2-week ban for saying Palestinians should be genocided. Oh man, it's so bad. It's 2 weeks. A slap on the wrist. Prague is, those are the crazy pills I'm taking, is progesterone. I think that's probably true. 1 month for the hummus list. So it's twice as bad to say that Sabra hummus is gross than it is to say Palestinians deserve to be genocided. Asmongold's mental man should never apply. I mean, I will say that, like, Asmongold is really, to a much larger extent than any other creator I've seen, like, is someone who got, like, radicalized by his own audience almost. Like it's not really that he's gotten, like, he's always been just, like, evil. Like, he's always been far right. It's like he is so beholden to his audience where, like, he doesn't want to say anything that would possibly upset people in his chat. He's the most beholden to his audience maybe I've seen. It's like, he's constantly looking, it's the drill tweet. He's constantly changing the racism dial and like looking back. He's making sure that his audience agrees with him. Like, he saw the Nick Fuentes clip where Nick Fuentes was saying that Hitler was base, and he waits a second. He apologized for his Greenland take. What was the Greenland take? Did he say that America shouldn't invade Greenland? And then he was like, I'm sorry. But, Fuentes says Hitler is base, and then he waits like 10 seconds, and his chat is like, oh, it's base, and he's like, haha, that's so funny that he said Hitler was good. Oh, his EU chatters made him take the Greenland invasion back. I see. Right, I mean, of course, he has, like, a high proportion of Euroid chatters. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Has been audience captured. Yeah, exactly. Maple. Um, Hello, I'm American Hitler. I stream on Twitch. Many such cases. Does he stream on Kick too? Is any other person with similar stature even like him except maybe Soda? I don't know. I feel like a bunch of people. I feel like there's a bunch of streamers that don't care. Why does he have an EU audience? Because of Hitler particles. Right, his name was Breivik on WoW, which is a reference to that shooter. Yeah. Connor eats pants. The CIA replaced Asmongold with an even stupider version during the Johnny Depp trial. That's true. I will never forget, like, I will never forgive the men in my chat for gaslighting me about the quote unquote mutual abuse in the Depp trial. No, I was right. I should have doubled down. I think it's a part of my gender politics now is I refuse to not. What was that tweet where it was like I was supporting Heard when everyone thought that she was beating him? Yeah, he was like a Depp trial guy. I mean, so many people were. That was like a very grim. When was that? Was that 2021? This photo is not available in my country. That's so funny. Right, that was his transition out of React to React out of gaming. That makes sense. Yeah, that was a really grim moment for. Yeah, mutual abuse is like a fake concept. Not insofar as it's like inconceivable, but insofar as like it is so rare in those dynamics that it isn't like there is one person that is actively maintaining it. Then you look at like, oh, well, the other person is acting insane. It's like, well, it must be because they abuse each other. It's like, well, no, that is how people act when they are being abused. They do odd things. They do things that are out of the ordinary. Yeah, I think the Depp trial was probably the end of. I mean, the official end of the Me Too movement was Biden, right? Where it was, who is the celebrity lady who like pushed Me Too a lot? She took it out of her bio when she supported Biden. It was very perfectly like symbolic of like, well, no, this is done, this is over. Everyone is kind of done during this because it's like, the believing women is uncomfortable. Was it Alyssa Milano? I mean, Me Too was a deeply flawed movement for a couple reasons. One of which is just that it's carceral feminism. Like, it's the belief that like women will be saved by the prison system, which like, no, they won't. For like a couple reasons. The easiest one to understand is like, there's a reason why this is so hard to do. There's a reason why it's so hard to be believed, and it's not just like this abstract prejudice. It's a thing that's like, oh, you know, people don't believe women just in general. Like these institutions aren't meant to do this sort of justice you're asking them for. Is this stream buffering? Yeah, Johnny Depp's a real evil individual. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like the current cultural climate, you don't like people like you don't get the inverse of Charlie Kirk. Insofar as like I can't imagine there are right wing people losing their jobs right now for making fun of that woman or saying that she deserved it. What is the Fuentes position on this actually? Because this makes sense. Like, just looking at Twitter for 1 second, and I get it familiar. Like, this lesbian agitator gave her life to protect 60. What exactly is the point of calling yourself a Christian if you talk like this? You would think that would be the Fuentes position. Like, overtly. I'm sure, you know, privately he loves it. That has been, he's been flip-flopping a lot recently, yeah. I would, because again, like the thing is like, well, if Nick is smart, then it seems like he probably would distance himself from this, because he's made those takes before of like, that like, you know, white liberals are still white, so you should still like them, which is like a weird 7-dimensional white supremacist, like pro Gavin Newsom white supremacist take. Maybe Fuentes might be a good bellwether for the general reaction to this. If there are enough right-wing people that that are pro her getting shot, he might just be like, well, no, it's actually fuck around and find out. That might be interesting to see his reaction. In a heartbreaking story, I saw on Chatter got expelled from uni for posting RP to bro in reply to a Kirk memorial email, got to rejoin the uni. Well, that's great to hear. Wasn't there that professor that like got paid $5 million or something because he got fired? Kirk, 5 million. He was reinstated and he got paid like a shit ton of money. 500,000. He got paid 500,000 and he got his job back. I do think that I mean, it's clear that they overplayed their hand with the Kirk shit. I can't imagine, like, making memes about her dying. I just don't think it works. And I think especially for, like, the somewhat fascist white moderate, I think that their reaction to this is probably like, well, I have a member of my family I could imagine would be in that car, and I would not want them to be shot. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see. It sounds like they're really overplaying their hand, but maybe that doesn't even matter. Maybe I'm like in Plato's cave right now, looking at the little shapes and thinking they're important. When the real thing that's important is like, well, how many people are on the ground opposing ICE? Maybe this becomes, you know, as Laura Loomer identified, I guess this is a clear example of like a fear that she has. They're like, she's like, oh, they're trying to make it like the reaction to George Floyd. And again, I think people are tired in a way that they weren't in 2020, and they've given up in a way that they hadn't then. So I don't know how this would be the event that changes that significantly. Maybe. I would hope so. I think that's the important thing to emphasize is like, these institutions will fucking kill you. And then after you die, the administration is going to say that you deserved it. And that will get worse. This is what these institutions are made for. It was clear, like, with Trump that he's exploiting the state of exception. He's exploiting an instance where it's like, oh, well, someone is a suspected undocumented immigrant. like they don't have any rights legally. They're allowed to do X or Y, but that as soon as they started doing that more, they would expand it to everyone. That's how that exception is used, as it's an entry point for fascism. It's the case where like the liberal democracy allows for a certain amount of illiberalism for the sake of maintaining the state. But it's clear that would get substantially worse, and this is what we're seeing. Will stand still threatening ICE. That's not a surprise to me, honestly. It's not safe. Leave. Beast mode. Beast mode. I mean, I will say, and maybe this is like optimism. It really does seem like Minneapolis, there's a lot of fucking people on the ground. I don't know what the federal reaction to this is going to be. But the reaction in Minneapolis is quite strong. Did you all see there's like the first thing when I logged onto Twitter that it showed me was the American press secretary very abruptly ending the meeting before the 65th minute, because there was and then people noticed there was a poly market bet of like, will the next press secretary meeting, whatever the state of, no, I can't remember what they call it officially, will it last more than 65 minutes? Which I just think is like, I just think is incredible that like we're doing this now. Great piece of advice to protesters to comply with law enforcement, avoid trying to run them over with your car. Yeah, it's like actually it's actually good that there's a secret police that are allowed to be judge, jury, and executioner with no accountability. That's actually based.
We'll show it.
Show the video, slow motion, walk a step by step. Show the wheels turning to the right. If someone was trying to kill the agents, their wheels would turn left, not right.
Their wheels would have turned to the left or the right. I don't think that she was trying to kill the agent. I think that she didn't care whether she hurt the agent in the process of her escaping.
Oh, so you don't think she was trying to kill the agent? Because that's not what you were saying earlier.
This is the video.
I just don't think Espengal is very smart. This is so many reactions. I just don't think that Espengal is a very smart person. Like one of the reasons why I bring up Fuentes a lot is because I do think that he is generally like at least shrewder than all of the other sort of influencers in his position. That like pretty much everyone else I see, it's like, oh, this is a guy who, this is like the Twitch streamer that the right deserves. You know what I mean? This is the intellectual that the right deserves. Because it's just completely pre-reflexive, poorly thought of. It's rapidly changing, and it doesn't matter because like there's like he has an army of chuds as his audience who will continue to watch him even if he is a complete fucking dumbass and changes his story a bunch. It doesn't matter. Which, I guess this is the movement. This is the movement they've made. Who's dumb, Asman or Tim? I think it's Asman. It's Asman every time. Asmongold is like he barely even has opinions of his own. It is just like his chat. Not even Zoomer Alex Jones. I feel like that's an insult to Alex Jones because Alex Jones has motion. He's not a Santa. Yeah, he's like, he is like, as I said before, at some point, it's like the sandworm, the God Emperor. Like, he becomes a sandworm. Like, Asmongold is just like an amalgamation of his chat. Like, that's all he is. It was funny. I saw a clip of him recently where he was like, you know, I will go along with trans people's delusion because when I lost all my teeth because I like refused to brush it at all and like I couldn't recognize the person I saw in the mirror and that was deeply upsetting. I think trans people probably experience a similar thing. Which again, like, a part of me wants to feel like a lot of, to a certain extent, his heart really isn't in this at all. Like, Asmongold is negatively polarized against someone like Hassan. Because it's like, oh, well, Hassan is, you know, yelling at me, and that pisses me off. And all of the people who support me also believe that, like, Hitler was based. But, he's also too much of a coward that, like, the second that becomes a uncomfortable opinion to believe, when there isn't an audience that is big enough for that, when it you know, when there's actual moderation that might be done against some of the evil opinions he's voicing, that he just immediately flips. Like, Fuentes is someone said he's got the Mussolini dog in him. I wonder, he might be too much of a coward for it. But he does believe in something ideologically. He has a program he's committed to. Asmongold is committed to nothing. I'm sure his default opinions are pretty fascist. I'm sure he loves fascism. It feels good to him to support fascism, but he doesn't have the dog in him. When he used to play WoW, he would watch a trans content creator and tell the chat not to misgender her. Yeah, it's an odd... It's a man of contrast, because, you know, a chat has lots of contrasts in it. So he is subsequently recently binged Mussolini show. It's so good. It's so peak. It's so peak. I love that show so much. You all know this. I've mentioned it before. Fuentes will lose momentum with Woke 2.0 and become an institutional stooge. I mean, probably both. It's very possible that it's both. Yeah. Because, well, he's been pro-Venezuela invasion, right? Like, his foreign policy is, like, he's a two-stater neocon. We talked about this before, that his position on Israel was basically Obama's, which is just, like, we want someone in Israel who is pro-America. Yeah, he's going to be a Heritage Foundation guy. That's very possible. I do think that, like, the current, like, Republican Party has done a pretty effective job, or, like, effective, it's like giving it credit for doing this, which I don't necessarily mean. Has had the effect where, like, a lot of, like, wannabe Mussolinis would just end up, working, being fine with institution, working for the Heritage Foundation. Because it's like, well, opposing the modern American state is kind of terrifying. It's, like, really powerful. And, like, this is, like, pretty much all that we wanted. Ugh. I can't be the main guy, which is kind of what I wanted to be, but it's better than nothing. And I don't have to oppose the modern American state. Anyway. What else is there to say about what's gone on? I am very curious how this develops, and I'm very curious what the general opinions of the American population will be on one, the killing of that lady, Renee Good, as well as whatever the response is going to be in Minneapolis. Trump is so fucking stupid. The White House is reportedly discussing paying everyone who lives in Greenland 10,000 to 100 per person if they secede from Denmark. Like, Trump is like, why don't we just send them Trump bucks? Why don't we just, like, the check worked before, where we send them $1,000? Why don't we just do that again? Trump, like, doesn't understand the thing that people... Yeah, like, giving everyone a Dogecoin. I don't think that Trump actually understands, like, what nationalism is. I think Trump doesn't understand how normal human people think and react to things. It's like, why don't we just pay them to colonize them? Like, yeah, man, I mean, that's not going to work for like 100,000 reasons. One of which is that no one fucking believes you. But also, like, I think the general opinion of people in Greenland is that they're terrified of what America would do to them. Yeah, Trump is not really a nationalist in a sense. Like, American nationalism is so strange and, like, stands for something so abstract in a lot of instances that, like, I think a lot of Americans don't see or understand what most other nationalisms look like, because they're like, well, our nationalism is that we like freedom, which, you know, concretely is like we support the power of our state and of our bourgeois political class, or of our bourgeois class. You know, that's how it concretely manifests itself. But the idea of, like, especially an oppressed nationalism, an oppressed national identity, how someone in that ethos would operate is, like, completely foreign to a Trump. They don't understand. They're like, well, I bet you guys like freedom too, and freedom is like being more American. Denmark is paying like 200 million euros per year on Greenland. Yeah, I mean, I find it hard to imagine most people in Greenland are convinced by Trump saying, like, we'll give you 10,000 US dollars per person. We'll give you UBI. Bjork said that they should become independent like Iceland. I wish I could do a Bjork impression, because I feel like anything Bjork writes is like so Bjork. I wish all Greenlanders blessing in their fight for independence. Iceland is extremely relieved that they managed to break from Danish. We didn't lose our language. First was number 3 Greenlanders. Colonialism has repeatedly given me horror chills on my back. Declare independence, sympathetic wishes from your neighbors. Here's a song called Declare Independence. Cause yeah, I mean, what is the Greenlandish opinion? I think they're generally less sympathetic to independence now. I would have to imagine. Because, I mean, there's a reason why Trump is telling them to go in to become independent. That's I think she means she's got the right spirit. I think that's a if Bjork has anything, it's that certainly. $1 o'clock. Everyone knows it's not possible right now. Yeah. Maybe Trump is getting into Woodrow Wilson. There needs to be some guy who makes like Trump could. If you were like a New Deal, not even a New Deal Democrat, you were like a self-determination, like Woodrow Wilson liberal, and you had like the last time slot for like meetings with Trump every day for like a month, you could probably turn him into a Woodrow Wilson guy. I believe that sincerely. I think that would appeal to Trump. Fuentes' map of USA annexing Mexico and all of Central America is hated even by his fans. I mean, I'm sure Fuentes would love this because it makes the country more Catholic. Greenland has won independence, brought political consensus. The question is when in the process. That makes sense. Fuentes yearns for the motherland. He loves the technocracy. I bet that would be the Fuentes played Victoria 3, annexes all of North America, and then switches to technocracy. Yeah, I do want to. I do want to know the Fuentes take, because that is a good like bellwether. He just hasn't said anything. Because he said this. Was this after the shooting though? No, I guess. So I guess it's pro killing people. He says they should be arrested. He might go full on being pro ICE, I guess. I mean, that makes sense. What's gonna happen if Republicans fuck up the midterms? I don't know. I don't think they're gonna do anything. He's gonna wait to see where the winds blow? Yeah. I think that's true. That's why I was so curious. It's hard to get a good it's hard to get a good read on things on social media of like what people generally believe because it's so skewed. And different areas are very skewed in different ways. I had to stop looking at like r/conservative because I was like, surely they think that the Venezuelan invasion is bad because it's like you were arresting a foreign leader, but then they were like, no, they loved it. They completely loved it. I was like, of course, okay. Insane far-right white supremacist counter-protester. Oh, this is like an insane Q guy.
No one can stop what is coming. Get here, guys. We need you in Minnesota.
I mean, this guy is like actually insane.
People are fucking terrorists. Hey, Church, get out of here. We need the backup. And all you liberal commie motherfuckers, keep your hands to yourself or you're gonna get hurt today, all right? We executed one of you yesterday. We executed one of you yesterday. You understand?
I tell Balvo. Yeah, where we go all is like a throwback. And it shows that this guy is like actually insane. Because he's still like focused on Q. And yeah, he's really got the... Like, this is a guy who's going to be folding in like a, 24 hours. Like, he's on too much amphetamines. It's not gonna be good for him. Your mom has a Where We Go On We Go All sticker. That's crazy. Don't interview Jacob Chansley. What is Mr. Chansley up to? Yeah, it's a strange thing about that guy. It's just he's into Q still.
Are you still a Trump supporter?
No. I thought you knew that.
Why not?
The man alone refusing to release the Epstein client list was enough for me and I think a lot of other people to be like, okay, this is bullshit.
Jake brought us to a mountain overlooking Phoenix, where he says he sometimes performs his shamanic ceremonies.
I feel like this part of America is like white guy who does ayahuasca, Wakanda.
So we're gonna hike a bit?
That's the hope and the
Oh.
Yeah, right. If we're gonna hike, I'm taking off my shirt.
Oh, don't put that on,
already
man.
for me to take my shirt off.
I've been around with this headdress and the face paint and stuff. People are like,
He's like he was like, no. The Nordic stuff, that's not enough.
are you the guy?
You come up here a bit?
If you don't know, the Jacob Chansley, he's like a religious universalist. So he thinks that like all religions are articulating the same truth. And I believe he also claims he has indigenous ancestry, although again, like that's just the thing that every white guy does.
Yep.
You know, it's like the Elizabeth Warren.
One of my favorite spots.
Oh yeah.
Oh, this is cool.
Looking back on Jan 6 now, how do you feel?
Oh God, man, that's so bad.
Do you have any regrets? Do you regret that you went?
Not at all.
Even though you had prison, all that stuff?
Even though I had prison and all that stuff, no regrets. I don't live with regret.
You went to Washington because you believed the election was stolen, right?
You can't paint everyone in Phoenix with the Jacob Chansley brush. I can and I will.
Well, look at it like this. I went to Washington because I believe that every election since Kennedy has been stolen, and I believe every election since 1913 has been stolen. I went to Washington.
Kennedy was not elected in 1913.
Not so much to support Trump, but to support America and the idea of free, honest, and fair elections in the United States.
So you were never this wild Trump supporter.
Look at it like this. I supported Trump because he was talking about ending child and human trafficking. I supported Trump because he was talking about arresting Epstein and the Epstein client list.
Did you ever identify as the QAnon shaman?
Never. Not once.
No, I mean, that was the moniker.
But you were a Q...
Or was it?
Follower.
Was that something our podcast did? Like, Julian was was it Julian? I think it probably was Julian, actually. Julian was interviewing him before Jan 6.
Well, kind of. I had a sign that I carried around with me for a little while that said Q sent me, but that was because of the meme Q sent me.
Yeah.
Right?
It's because of the meme.
I think you...
Yeah, I think it was Julian. I think Julian did make it. Yeah, I don't think he ever identified as that. Well, because of the meme. Well, in that case,
Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this demonstrates where the wind is blowing in terms of, I don't think that it's impossible for Trump to do fascism with how much people support him. Because power is like a weird thing, and especially American state power. But I think it makes it a lot harder that, especially you lost like this constituency of guys. Ugh. I still have a cough. It's annoying. All right, brother. Okay, let's not. Yeah, the fake here is real. Is rough. Will Trump invent an even gayer version of fascism? I think he's gonna invent an even straighter version, but like gayer in the pejorative sense. Like it's without any of the homoerotic stuff. Maybe that's impossible. I think that's probably impossible. Yeah, the QAnon shaman is an interesting guy. I read both of his books for QAA. And it seems like for a while he did want to be like he said the Vietnam War was bad because of American imperialism, and that like he was doing both of them. Yes, one of them is this like semi-fictional, although he probably thinks that he's probably treating it as real, account of how he meets an interdimensional Sasquatch. And the Sasquatch is like really worried and is really sad because of like 5G, and is like telling him that QAnon is real, and that, like this is he meets this Sasquatch in Arizona when he's doing ayahuasca. Hello Puby. Ascended White Master. It's sort of like that. It's kind of around that sort of. And it's so this one is like the fictional story of like how he becomes spiritual, and the other one is his like political manifesto. I'm sure he's written more books by now, where he was talking about how like he was at was it Standing Rock? He was like at he claims to have been at the Dakota Access Pipeline protests. Because he was like, oh, they're trying to pump the oil, which is a part of like the evil 5G child molester, shadow cabal. They're trying to pump the oil. I'm taking progesterone again, and it's working. I'm sure he loves AI. I'm sure the QAnon shaman loves AI. I'm at 100 milligrams. That's enough for me. It makes me real sleepy. But not the oral route, because that gives you very little progesterone. Which route? Don't worry about it. There are women on my mom's side of the family who generally have, that is how that works. Every natal male has like a genetically determined boob size. Is that the case in Crusader Kings 3? That's so beautiful. Anyway, what was I gonna say? I can't remember what I was talking about. We were talking about the QAnon shaman. Yeah, he has a book about his politics, and it's oddly like anti-imperialist, and he's just like, I think the American machine is evil, but then he just like gets psyoped by like his mom is a big QAnon believer, and like pushes QAnon onto him. And I mean, I say that as if he isn't like a grown man who can make his own decisions, like. Okay, if my mom believed in QAnon, it wouldn't. It's not like, oh, well, in that case, who amongst us wouldn't believe QAnon then? But the main angle, though, is that he's someone who is like very sincerely quite concerned about child abuse, I know at some point he works at this, like, I can't remember if it's like a shelter that's for like abused children. And it seems like when he does that, he gets a lot out of it. Like when he was on Alex Jones' show and Alex Jones was like freaking out at him, it's clear that he was talking to Alex Jones in the way that he would talk to like a defiant child, you know? There's a specific phrase he kept repeating, and it's like, oh, you've done this before. You've done this before. What was I gonna say? And so like the protect the children stuff is where he really got like sucked into QAnon, I think. Where it was like, oh, all these people are so worried about protecting the children, like, and this evil conspiracy about the American institutions being bad. My QAnon coworkers given up and they're focusing on God and the Bible. Many such cases, I think. Who spoke down the QAnon shaman? I believe, was this like right before Jan 6? Maybe it was right after. Wait,
and
on.
We also have a policy that if you're driving on one of those streets and a mob comes and surrounds your vehicle and threatens you, you have a right to flee for your safety. And so if you drive off and you hit one of these people, that's their fault for impinging on you. You don't have to sit there and just be a sitting duck and let the mob grab you out of your car and drag you through the streets. You have a right to defend yourself in Florida. And we also have a
I guess, bro. I don't know. Do you know that meme? Do you know that meme? I guess, bro. I don't actually think this is even the thing he's saying in the movie. I guess, bro. Like, is that taken out of context? Surely that's taken out of context. No, this is older. Yes, I see. This is an older video. And it's for a second I was like, I didn't realize the realignment was going to be like that. But no. That was about protesters.
My dad's been watching Benny Johnson. I tried talking to him about the conflict with Israel and he said the U.S. attack was necessary because they chant death to America. I sent him your clips and Timothy Gordon clips on Zionism. What should I do? Have my dad? Benny Johnson is gay. Enjoy your 4th of July.
Why are we here? Is it just to suffer? Is it just so that we can be tortured to death by idiots? So we could just be tortured to death by the Goyim? Why? Okay. I'm like 2 seconds out from just joining the Jews at this point. Like, I want to oppress you with them at this point. It's like I started out like the Jews are oppressing us. Then it's like, no, the Jews are oppressing all of you. Maybe I need to help them. Maybe I need to enhance that. Maybe just how like the kings of Europe used to hire the Jews to torture their own people. Maybe the Jews will hire me to torture all of you. Wouldn't that be something? It's still an option. It's always an option. Let's just say, let's put that on the back burner. Let's just say that's plan B.
Japanese style philo-Semitism, exactly. What was that? That was like before World War II. Japanese leadership like discovered the protocols and they were like, these Jewish people, like, we gotta get on their good side.
And they can follow up. I will say, look, I would appreciate.
Why does he wear a guy liner? Like he does, right? Like his eyes are more shadowed than mine. Like those aren't just his eyes. Right? Like
Everybody's saying a prayer for that agent. Look, in the past 6 months, he has been hit twice by a motor vehicle. One time, the first time, it led to over 30 stitches and very...
You have to understand that he's actually a very small being And cars are actually his trigger.
Serious injuries to his legs. This is a guy who's actually done a very, very important job for the United States of America. He's been assaulted, he's been attacked, he's been injured because of it. He deserves a debt of gratitude, and I think the media prejudging and talking about this guy as if he's a murderer is one of the most disgraceful things I've ever seen from the American media. Yeah.
His eyes aren't as beautiful as mine. Thank you. Thank you. Wait, hold on. Where's the... This is... No, it actually looks really weird, actually. It looks so much weirder than I thought it was gonna look. This is so weird. If you didn't know, Nvidia has like an eye contact feature. Why did they add that? I don't understand. Anyway, SpongeBob big guy pants. Okay, exactly. What else has been happening on the internet? It's hard to remember because everyone is just, this is like the thing that's happening that people are talking about. Has there been more developments with Venezuela in the last like 2 days? I know that the live, I don't need international law, Trump says after Maduro abduction. It is fascinating to see them just like say, you know, it's the quiet part out loud or whatever, which is, you know, did you know that The Simpsons invented that phrase, saying the quiet part out loud? That it's like, yeah, it is the Department of War. We don't care about international law. We're invading them for oil. Renews threat to Iran over protests. I don't need international law. It says only his own morality can deter his global ambitions. That's such a fascinating, like, you gotta show that to Adorno. The massive fascist empire is like inventing its own moral calculus. It is only bound by a morality whose only law is the extension of its own self-interest. Like, that's it. That is what is moral. My own morality, my own mind, it's the only thing that can stop me. That's fucking grim. I'm not looking to hurt people is the great like end edition. Man, how old is he?
How can you vote for Burns's movie?
Let's just say it moved me to a bigger house. Oops, I said the quiet part loud and the loud part quiet. Oh dear.
Is that that's funny. Think of Iranians in the timeline shitting on leftists, not posting about the Iranian protests. I don't know. I think it's complicated. I mean, Iranian diaspora is not a phrase that has garnered good reputation politically, obviously. Oh, yes, the FBI telling trans people to remove published material. That was one of the things that I forgot. That there are these, like, trans women who just, like, post on, like, Instagram. You know, they have, like, public profiles. And they post things. And, like, the FBI is telling them to stop. Because is Tara Knight as an example? The FBI is telling them to stop because they're, like, being designated as terror groups. It does feel like it does feel like it is just like the Andor speech or the manifesto that they're throwing so much at you. Gamer thinks, yeah, sure. It's weird because the admin loves posting. Well, that's why though, because they're so obsessed with posting. They're like, you're not posting correctly. A suspected Israeli insider account with 100% win rate on Polymarket has bet that Iran will be attacked by Israel on January 31st. I don't know if this is real or not. I do think that you know what is funny? When the Polymarket people justify their existence, when they say like this isn't actually a gambling website, it's actually good. Like they say that this is why. They're literally like people have an economic incentive to do insider trading about events that'll happen, which gives us information on what's going to happen before it happens. By January 31st. I mean, hey, what are the bets though? Oh, they're putting a shit ton on, I see. That is a lot. Israel military action against Iran. And a military operation against Iran. Strike on Iran. I mean, they could just be guessing. Obviously. That one was by the 31st. I mean, I said this before again with Iran is like they're like their security apparatus is just like so thoroughly fucking cooked. Like Israel has infiltrated to such a large extent that it's like it is incredibly grim. It really is the only like regional power opposing Israel, and it's just it's in such a miserable state. The protest, I mean, I should just like look more into it as opposed to knowing the amount I know, looking into it like for 30 minutes yesterday. It does seem like ugh. I guess the thing I said about this 2 days ago is probably the best way I could find to articulate it. Which is obviously to say, I mean, of course, there are plenty of people who have very good reason to resist the Iranian state. And much of that movement is going to be derived from those people. The unreflexive immediate, like, oh, this is a color revolution, I think is silly. Does that mean that like the thing that's going to happen now? I am gay! Does it mean that the current events are going to lead to a better state of affairs for the Iranian people? Probably not. For science, thank you. I wouldn't be very optimistic in that respect. Graham to Iranian leader, Trump is gonna kill you. That is the thing about the so-called Republican opposition to, like, they love it. He's just doing neocon shit. You would face deadly consequences if the security forces continue their crackdown on protesters. Were the Shah years better? No, I don't think so. That's a pretty low... The Shah was pretty fucking... I guess that's the point you're making. I guess that's the point. The point that... Yeah, no, the Shah years were not good. Yeah. You'll meet Iranians who say yes to this. I mean, it's generally parts of the diaspora that got, like, kicked out by the revolution, right? I said this before. There was a statistic I saw, which was that like during the Shah, the incarceration rate in Iran was the highest in the world. Like the state had the most people in prison per capita of any state. What is happening here?
Joe Biden daughter, and this is my story. My name is Oksana Biden. I was born in Krzywy Róg, Ukraine, by single mother. When I was 3, my mom left me. Surviving alone was hard, but my friend Sasha taught me how to hunt bears, and I survived. When I was 5, my mom died, and I inherited 1 liter of vodka Wyborowa and a photo of me with my dad, Joe Biden. This photo reminds me of my dad. If you want to help me, share my story with your mom and Joe Biden. I am Joe Biden.
Really makes you think. Oh, I think maybe you sent the wrong video. I think maybe you sent the wrong video. Possibly. This sounds like it's more in the alley of what we were talking about, which was the FBI silencing trans women.
As you all have likely heard, I was forwarded a letter from the FBI
I think this one's probably more
informing me that my work and my platform and everything I've built over the past 3 years has to go. For propagating what they are calling radical gender ideology. This comes from Trump's executive order, basically saying I'm a propagandist for domestic September 11th-ing. I
assume
would.
You just didn't want to say the word terrorism.
I'll just say point blank short period. I have no intentions of stopping anything. Maybe to my detriment, but I've never been the smartest one.
Yeah, I mean that's horrifying. And also it is like a poster presidency. As someone said before, they're obsessed with the institution, the presidency, the administration is obsessed with posting, which includes like, well, we're gonna make sure that people we don't like stop posting as well. The traveling nurse one.
Video is not super fun to make. However, I was encouraged to make it by the office of my congressional representative, which is a crazy thing to say out loud. Someone or something in the Trump administration wiped my existence from the US passport database. Let me explain. On December 19th, 2025, I received a notice at 2:17 in the morning, local time here in Los Angeles, that my access to the Global Entry Traveler Program had been revoked. And the reason for my revocation was that I no longer met the requirements for the Global Entry Program. Now, the requirements are not having been charged with a felony, check, never been charged with a felony, having valid identification and documents, check, I have valid documents. My passport was not expired. And one of the last things on the eligibility list was not under investigation for terrorism. Well, that exact day, Pam Bondi sent a letter to the FBI requesting that pro-trans activists be labeled as domestic terrorists. I'm shaking. So, as many of you guys know, I am a pro-trans activist. I have worked
The song
with
got
the
clicked out of the global entry thing too.
ACLU during the U.S. versus Scrimeti case. I have a trans partner. I have a trans sister. I am very blessed to have many trans friends. And I have worked as a healthcare provider, providing gender-affirming care.
Coordinated with his on others to get the Malcolm Kill interview to happen. I still got my passport. They can't deny you getting a passport. They can only fuck with you upon re-entry to the country. Right.
For trans youth. And needless to say, I freaked the fuck out. I did also...
Yes, I know they've been trying to stop people from getting passports, to less success than I would have imagined.
Contact friends of mine who are attorneys and friends of mine who work in the federal government. And I was told there is a chance that this could have just been a clerical error. And so for the sake of my mental health, I just went with that. And they told me to go ahead and apply to renew my passport online and see what happens next. So last week I did just that. And I applied on the US passport website to renew my passport online as it expires this coming year. I was then told that no one with my identity was found anywhere in the US passport system. At this point, I got in contact with my congressional representative and his office, and was told by one of the field staff here in Los Angeles that this specific notice was unusual and that there had been a record of clerical errors where people had been removed from the passport system because their passport was incorrectly marked lost or stolen. That is not what happened to me, and I was told that if that had happened, the error message that I received would have said that. It didn't. It said that no one with my identity was found anywhere in the US passport system. So, with the help of my congressional representative and his office, I am now waiting for an appointment with the US passport office here in Los Angeles to see what's going on, to see if there are any holds on my access to my legal documents that would allow me to travel and leave the country. And why this is.
It seems they put her under investigation for terrorism and then tried to cover their tracks, bungled it, and then deleted all her shit.
Because right now, no one seems to have a clear reason why. And again, it could be clerical error. However, knowing that I am allegedly the only person that this...
That is an important thing to realize. However much everyone talks about how stupid the Democrats are, and they're right for it, the other side is substantially stupider.
Specific series of events has happened to, and also knowing that the Global Entry Program is a completely different governmental agency than the passport system, and that both of them...
they're all very incompetent. What was the thing with our boy Tyler Robinson? Aren't they bungling his investigation, his trial as well? There was some piece of evidence they fucked up and weren't able to admit or something. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? It'd be so funny if he got off. Could you imagine, bro? Because they've been bungling Luigi's trial. Do you think Maduro will walk? I don't fucking know. Because presumably they don't. This is the thing. Presumably they don't have a case, right? Presumably there isn't a case there. But American courts respond to power first and foremost. So I wouldn't. Luigi, Tyler, Maduro all walk out together. Someone has made that AI video. Surely that exists on Facebook. It's making a bunch of Republican boomer moms very angry because they think it's real. There's no way they'd ever let Maduro walk. Yeah, I don't think so. But also, presumably, they probably don't have a case. But that seems like maybe thinking of, it's a myopic perspective on what's going on. You know, the point was never the trial. They're using a certain legal mechanism to threaten a country. You know, you need to look at the structure of that threat and not 6ix9ine's at the jail as well. Maduro is at the fucking 6ix9ine jail. Like, what is the Maduro charge? What is Maduro charged with? They said the accused abused their position of public trust and corrupted once legitimate institutions to import tons of cocaine into the United States. It's the drug trafficking thing. I mean, surely that's just not... Yeah, the charge is possession of oil. I mean, surely that's just not... They dropped insisting the cartel of the sun was real, right? Because they were claiming there was some Venezuelan cartel connected to the government. Yeah. No, it doesn't. It's not a real trial, is probably the answer. I mean, I don't know. The judiciary is just like not independent of the executive branch anymore. We're just like not really pretending that the structure of the American government is real. It's just like not. Never has been, yeah. This is true. It's grim stuff, folks. What else has been going on the internet? Oh.
Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you all about what my reason was for getting suspended on Twitch and also what my plans are going forward. I think this has been something that's a long time coming. I think that I've been slowly devolving into the most psychopathic version of myself. I think that I've been devolving into this. I don't like making apologies because I think words don't matter. But I do think changed actions and changed behaviors do. And so you can take my apology as hopefully better content. And if you're not seeing that, I want you to hold me accountable.
The content got better. The content...
Hopefully this time I won't be stupid enough to ignore it. Mouth is pretty dry. Anyway, I'm just going to focus on myself for a while, try to improve my own life. You guys deserve a much better version of me than what you've been getting. And I hope that I can live up to that in the future.
Hassan was in Aspen's chat yesterday. That's awesome.
Man, it's been a crazy 2 weeks, I'll tell you that. Trump is, he's coming out with some plans. This is the time where you can say elections have consequences.
Hassan was like, I see why my haters do this to me. Was he like ignoring him? Does anyone have a clip of that? That's very funny.
For 4 years of some of the best content that I think we've seen in a long time. So like, they're doing this thing with like these deportations where they bring in like celebrities to deport people, and it made me wonder, what is the probability that Tom Homan would let me go with him dressed up as Ash Ketchum with watching them do deportations? Yeah, exactly. That'd be really good content. It would be. Your statement about not voting to disadvantage yourself is really blowing up on X with strong support. Well, of course it is. Of course, it's just a logical perspective to have. Now, there's a bunch of emotionally unstable retards on the internet that like to distort reality. But no, of course, I'm not going to vote for somebody who's going to say that someone else is going to have a privilege that I can't have. Why the fuck would I ever do that? That's the most retarded thing you can imagine. So, no, of course.
This is so Kafkaesque. It's different, though, because, like, with the character in the Metamorphosis, he's like, oh, no, I can't go to work now. But if this happened to Asmund, it would just be like the same.
I mean, why don't I just vote to have somebody shoot me?
Okay, I can go to work perfectly fine.
Holocaust was a lie. I am, guys, I'm not one of these Holocaust deniers. I think the Holocaust probably happened. I think probably 99% certainty it happened.
The Nazis burned books on gender sciences.
They did do that. It's a bit of a miss. Like, my understanding is that they burned them not because it was gender stuff, but because it was written in Jewish and not German. Look at this.
I forgot written in Jewish and not German. It was written in Jewish. I've not seen this before, no.
Tax dollars used to promote wokeness in video games. Answer is yes. USAID paid Politico millions of dollars a year to write pieces like this one, which promotes diversity and describes Gamergate as disinformation and harassment campaign. So this is the thing, guys. I want these people to suffer because that's what they did to me. Get rid of them. Make an example of them. Say, listen, this is.
I do think this is a good example of Asmund's psychology, which is like, it's pure negative polarization. It's pure like, oh, people said that I shouldn't have a job I shouldn't have my job as like a demagogue who's able to say things because I said that a group of people deserves to be genocided.
What happens? Gamers rise up. What goes around? Yep, what goes around comes around. And we're coming. Mute the stream for about a minute if you don't want to hear something really bad. So I walked down to the store the other day, and I could tell that the back of my pants, my dick and balls, was getting a little bit too cold. Now, that doesn't happen a lot. And I look, and I realize part of the back of my sweatpants had been eaten away because we had a rat infestation in our house. And
I feel like he's like,
one of the rats had gotten trapped.
like surely he's like playing it up.
In my room, and it had eaten, I guess, sweat and dried cum off of the back of
Oh,
my...
he surely okay. Oh, I can't. No, it's not. I have to stop. I can't hear that. I can't. Anyway. I'm sorry. That's too much for me. Ugh. I mean, it's the perfect guy to be doing well among like the Chudverse. He's like, he's their guy. He's their Spartacus. Because he's, you know, they're all just like that. And he's like, well, it's based that it's like someone like me. It's like the thing that Nietzsche says about why democracy is bad is like specifically true, but it's true specifically about the democratization of media around Asmongold. Like it's true in that specific instance. Yeah, that's really grim. He gonna colonize in the mold in his house like J.K. Rowling. I feel like that's probably already happened. Not all rats. Rats are beautiful animals that are very cute. That is the funny thing about like. It's the same with mice. Like I had a mice infestation in university at Queen's because like those houses are just like there was some fucking slumlord landlords at Queen's University. They called it the student ghetto. And we had mice, and we told the landlord, and he came in. I've told this story before, and he like put sticky traps around our apartment without us knowing. And like I went down to the basement once and there was like a sticky trap with like 12 dead mice. It was a very grim experience. He's presumably he's playing that up. Oh, that's rancid. Oh yeah, no, it's not good. I tell this last stream. Why did this come up last stream? That's so funny. But they're cute. They're cute animals. Like I saw a mouse in my room. And the reaction is like, "Oh, that's cute. Oh no, this is actually a very cute. This makes me sad that I mean, I don't know. You've seen the Kingston winters. I understand it. I've seen a couple. I think it's probably rats in Vancouver, which made me feel like this feels like a thing that happens in New York. Like I'm just like outside. I was like going to the SkyTrain and like on the steps down to the SkyTrain at like Burrard or something. A mouse just like, or a rat, I don't know, just like darted by beside my feet. I was like, damn, I didn't know that happened. I guess I like, presumably they do that because they have to. Rats also have places to be. That's how I know Vancouver isn't a big city though, is that the rat was not that big. Like I thought it was like I'm mixing up mice and rats. You know what I mean? Like it was a normal sized rat. It was not thriving. Called a rat race for a reason. Really makes you think. Yeah, because the New York ones. Oh man, just talking about anything except for whatever's going on there. That's so grim. Did I tell you I got a record player? I used to have one as a teenager, but I got another one. I don't know. It's one of the it wasn't especially expensive. It was like 150 Canadian dollars. Which record player was it? Let me check. It's just one of the like shitty. I'm afraid to say which one it is because then you guys are gonna be like, this one's it's actually fucking sucks. Well, it's $150, so it probably does suck. LP and number 1 turntable. I like this one because it was the same color as the table. Was that in real money? No, it's in fake. That's in Canadian. 150 Canadian to US is $100. God damn, that's a crazy conversion. It was not the suitcase one. Yes, you all warned me that the suitcase one breaks your records. Which is awesome. And I said, it's a suitcase record player. Of course it does. I can't say that I'm surprised. It's just LP and number 1. I'm sure it's not very good, but that's fine. I think I like the process of it more than I'm like, oh, this has to be noticeably better than just streaming it on Spotify. What albums do I have? I have a bunch at my parents' house that I need to go get. But the records that I bought recently, let me check, hold on. I got Giant Steps, Coltrane, I got a Chet Baker, I got an Ahmad Jamal Trio one. There's another one. I cannot remember. João Donato, I think. I'm probably pronouncing that name wrong. But it's Brazilian. Bossa Nova? No, samba. I like it. It's good. It's good. It's like Giorginato is the go Adorno jazz fan. I know. I'm a woman of many contrasts. The thing about Adorno is to understand opinions on jazz is that he didn't actually understand it. CD greater than vinyl? I've never liked CDs. I've always been like slightly younger than CDs, and it's just been like the kind of the slightly obsolete technology. Whereas like vinyls, it's like, ooh, it's like old, it's like retro. You know, so that's, yeah, CD's nuts. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I still love jazz piano, but sax makes my head hurt. That's fair, actually. I do like jazz piano more. Are CDs going through a renaissance? I don't like that. I don't care for that. The fact that the sound is a group is cool. I still don't understand why like a groove can turn into like a stereo left and right audio channels. That doesn't make sense in my brain. I don't understand it, but I think that's cool. 'Cause there's like a stereo option. It is in stereo, isn't there? Like the records say stereo. It's a wave. A group has two sides. Is it genuinely just that? I guess that makes sense. No? Okay. I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna stop listening to chat on anything. That's not true at all. I'm too gullible. I'm too gullible. Chat's gonna like psyop me into believing it's one big wave. Okay. How do they turn sound into computer? That's a great question, actually. That is the real truth, Nuke, here, is that I don't understand how anything works at all. It's just that like record players are analog enough that you can see the thing happening. So it's like I know it's like a known unknown. To quote, what was it, the Secretary of Defense or something during the invasion of Iraq? Like how the fuck Spotify works and the Bluetooth, how Bluetooth works. That's an unknown. Is that a Rumsfeld? Okay. That's an unknown unknown. Do you know what I mean? How a vinyl track is converted into stereo. That's a known unknown. Yeah, that's just Bluetooth is just magic. I'm not close to understanding that one. Playing a record without the speakers plugged and still hearing it. Can you I guess you can do that, right? You know what's coming back that I'm happy with or I'm fine with is like cassette players. Like people are getting the Patrick Bateman like earphone and then they're having like a little mobile cassette player. I think that's cute. I think that society needs to become more analog. I think we need to do the Bolivarian Jihad. Not CD player, no. That's not analog enough to me. That is the shame with trying to have somewhat controversial, nuanced opinions on the internet is that everyone thinks I love ChatGPT. Which no, we have to do the Bolivarian Jihad. Bolivarian jihad, you're right. That's what we have to do. Like, I think the obsession with water usage is probably just a cope for the fact that everything else in our lives uses way more water, but that doesn't mean it's good. What else has been happening on the internet? CD is I guess it literally just is digital. I guess I was literally right. What else? What else has been happening that I can show that isn't just like? Because the Northern Lion, the Northern Lion trick to stealing content is you just say like, have you guys heard that meme? But like, I haven't been looking at memes. X is producing deepfakes at a rate 84 times higher than the top 5 dedicated deepfake sites combined. Yeah, no, it's real grim. Is it? Yeah, no. Zimmerman is homeless? Oh, that's hilarious. That's like we're mixing. I'm doing one bad and then, look at deepfakes. But hey, guys, George Zimmerman's homeless and he can't find work. So it's like, it's like a... Does this help? Maybe I should just keep doing this. The trick is to find enough good ones to mix the bad ones together. It's like, putting, making your dog swallow a pill so you put like peanut butter. I'm just doing that for like all the bad news. I do think that is actually a very smart... That probably would work as a way of doing news on the internet. Grok makes Zimmerman addicted to heroin. You gonna post that in... I don't know, he's probably not on Twitter. But in his replies, it's like the hypnosis thing. It's like, ooh, you want to try heroin. This is cool.
A scientist in Peru captured this, escaping from the tiny body of a sleeping hummingbird. A high-pitched but
This is like, and then I say like...
unmistakable snore. Hummingbirds are loved for their beauty and speed, but this one was behaving a little bit like a human. The perfect cute response trigger.
And then it's like, trans content creators are being targeted by the FBI. And it's like, okay, back to this. I think that works. That's a good way of telling people stuff. Alex Jones Labubu.
For New Year's with my Labubu. But when I do, I hang out with this little particular guy right here. He's not a Democrat. He's not a Republican. He's a populist. He's a freedom fighter. He's libertarian. He believes in team humanity. And, well, he likes InfoWars, Alex Jones, and Elon Musk. But most importantly, he likes 6'7". 6'7", baby. That's right, going to 2026. 6'7", then the year 2020. See.
Joe Boo Boo would never. It's a humiliation ritual. What happened with all his money? What happened with all his money? Didn't the lawsuit or whatever? Is the claim in this video being made that this is like a textile mill in North Korea that's making Labubus? Wow. Or that China is now exporting its labor of creating Labubus to... Yeah, is that a real? Is this a bootleg Labubu? Or is this... Like, is there a possibility that this was made in the DPRK? Hey, what's Candace Owens up to? Count the teeth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is it authentic? The Juche Boo Boo has 10 teeth. 6, 7. You're right. Guys, you can't do it when I'm counting. I guess you do. I guess you can't do it when I'm counting. Sure, why not? I can't stop you. The thing about trying to stop people from doing 6, 7 is that it only makes them do it more. So there's really no point in doing that. I like this guy. This is like a Star Wars like alien creature.
There's room for you. You just want that little sliver of sun.
This is real. This is a real guy.
There's really room. See?
That is Salacious B. Crumb, yeah.
Who's here? Yeah, I know. Who's here?
Hello, Noel. Hello.
How
are you? It is?
Pop shit out. That is a baby tauntaun.
Who's here?
Anyways, there won't be an election in 2028. Look at this dog. I think this is how I should be doing news. I think this works actually.
To me.
This is like what it looks like when white women shake their ass.
What did you do? Hi. Hi, pretty girl. Oh, wow. Where's that cheesy smile at?
Oh, he's so cute. Anyway. So yeah, anyways, back to the deepfakes are getting very bad. I will say, I think like one of the main... Actually, I think that the main terrifying component of deepfakes, in my mind, is like the idea that they're shared as revenge porn. That it's like, oh, this is a real photo of this person. I mean, not that there isn't like... There are many possible reasons or things you can draw on to insofar as in order to find the worst thing about these deepfakes. There isn't a lack of... Yeah, words are very difficult sometimes. I do this for a living. Isn't that funny? But for what it's worth, in my experience, it does feel like they're not... Like, the way that the right treats deepfakes, the way that like the men who use them treat them, is as if they genuinely are just like real. And it is like, there is a sense in which it is just like, you know that photo where it's like a blurred out image of Obama, and then it's like the machine learning trying to like unblur it, and it's just like a white guy? Like, that's still overwhelmingly what's going on with these. If you look at like what the people who use them talk about them, they think that it's like real. They think that it's like your Superman. You know what I mean?
You gotta be quicker than that. You gotta be quicker than that. Alright, babe. Alright, all you. Alright, for real this time. Here. Alright, one more. Quicker than that. Street for a while. Right here. Right there.
Putting the microphone there, it's really funny. Loud equals funny. He got me. And it's actually true. Every fucking hour. How is that allowed? I thought that that was illegal. I thought that you could sue. I thought that they could sue them for that. I thought that that was how that was how that worked. I guess not. I guess I hope they do. I guess they can still do that. Laws are optional now. I guess it is just crime season. You know what I saw? This is like the most bizarre algorithm reel pull that I've in my life. But it was like a Trump fan cam. And I feel like I don't actually have much to say about this other than presenting it. I don't know why the description is in, I guess, Hangul. Birdlax, Bird, thank you.
I think $1 million is a lot of money. No, you don't. No, I don't, actually.
Money talks. Money talks.
It's this strange ass.
Cash, I want you, and dirty cash, I need you, oh.
And
Is scrolling reels healthier than YouTube Shorts? Can you, like, look at this video and it'll probably give you the answer. Is that the meta with Insta descriptions? Wasn't that the video, the one where he was with Epstein? I believe so. Like, I think that it's partially ironic. And it is weird, like, I feel like this is more representative of the positive image people had of Trump, like, before he was a politician. Maybe this isn't true, and I, like, remember the Mac Miller song about Donald Trump? Do you guys remember that? Where it's like, we're partying like Donald Trump. Which takes on a very different meaning now. That's more like a Diddy party situation. That's why I was so like, this is such an unusual video because it's trying to like take that one aged like milk. That one aged so poorly. Mac Miller is canceled. I'm on my Donald Trump shit. Yeah, not good. Yeah, yikes. Used to pay Donald Trump real estate tycoon on your laptop. Yeah, it's weird. I feel like that was the original appeal for Trump voters, is like, he's a businessman. He's gonna do like business stuff, but for the country. Which is like very classic fascist psychology, right? Is like, I identify with this person because they're also like a narcissist who loves getting money. And that identification makes it feel like when they win, I also win. Like I'm living vicariously through them. But then it's that like psychological connection, but then there's an attempt to make that into like an overt political statement. He's going to do business deals for us. When of course, unless you're like a member of the national bourgeois, that's absurd. Same with Carney. I guess that's true. He's a business. I mean, he was like a banker. He was appointed by Harper. He's a businessman. He'll get a good deal for Canada in relation to Trump. Very strange stuff. What else? What other insane things do I have saved on Instagram? I had a video saved of Alex Jones saying 6'7".
Terms, but this is
But
politics.
let me give you an example. Like 6-7 days after, they bring up Charlie. I know people behind the scenes said Trump was very upset. All of this.
Terms.
I don't know what to say about that one. Um Oh, I've been meaning to ask this question. Nope. Oopsie. How do I pressed the wrong button. Does anyone have the extended video of that? Let me find it again. I clicked the wrong button. This is how it must feel like, you know, when you're like, grade 10 teacher is playing a YouTube video projected on the onto the projector, and they accidentally click something that like moves it away. That's how I feel. Does anyone have like an extended version of this? Like I've been meaning to like have a new intro music song. And if there's an extended version of this, I would absolutely use it. Charlie Curb. Yeah, people are saying it's almost like AI content is only constructed using already existing content. No, that's not why that was happening here. That is not, that's not the reason in this specific instance. If there's a full Charlie Kirk Kirby Superstar, someone please send it to me. And also, if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can connect it to your Twitch account and get a free subscription you can use on me. I don't think that... No, I think you misunderstand.
I am gay.
Tutorial Hell, thank you for the Prime. I think you misunderstand the S and... Here we go. Oh shit, okay. No, I'm gonna get baited again and it's not gonna actually be... No, see... Am I wrong with this? I'm not. No, I'm not wrong, okay. No, there is an AI video of someone made, presumably AI, that turned this into a Charlie Kirk thing. I don't think the original... Velcar, thank you. I'm like, am I wrong? I don't think that I'm wrong. No, I'm not wrong. Okay. I was looking specifically for the Charlie Kirk remix. Comments are saying I had to check. Had to make sure. Yeah, exactly. It's already 75% of the way there. I'm looking for 100%. Gaslighting Agar. I'm very easily gaslit, unfortunately. This one's fascinating. Do you think I can play this video on Twitch? Maybe I can't. It's got the F slur. It'll be fine.
Yo, boss man, it's mandatory for you to learn Arabic by January 1st. It's the mayor.
A Muslim and Hasidic Jew.
Assalamu alaikum.
I was born Hasidic Jew, and then I converted to Islam because Jews are faggots.
Oh.
I am a Jewish Hasidic Jew, and I'm gonna tell you right now, alhamdulillah, I'm a faggot ass nigga. That's why I converted to Islam. Blessed be to Muhammad. Fuck the Jews!
Be safe out there, boss.
Stupid, annoying influencer absolutely destroyed by average man in Times Square. This isn't what I imagine New York is like, but it is what I imagine Times Square specifically is like. He's not cut out for this. I would imagine that's because he's like a black Israelite. Surely that's what the calculus there is, right? Maybe I'm trying to search for a reason where there isn't one. Anyway. How it's been 3 hours. I think I'm gonna call it there. I don't think I'm sick. Still, I don't think so. But I am just kind of out of it. I got real sick. It was quite bad. But that was a while ago. We'll be back on Sunday. Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday is the streaming schedule. Join the Discord. I guess I'm just recovering. Maybe I'm sick for like 6 months. I love getting sick. I'm addicted to getting sick. Thankfully this time it wasn't COVID though. I was sick in October and I couldn't stream a bunch. I didn't stream for like 2 weeks. Alright, I'm gonna rate Ghibli. My goat. Converted to Islam. I love that video. Anyway, goodbye everyone. I'll see you on Sunday.